Newsfirst, face to face with Shalan Benedict.
Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Face to Face. You might have to think twice now before you post on social media, because as of today, the online safety bill is now in force. The Speaker has signed and endorsed the bill. The bill is in force, but do you really know what kind of offences or what kind of acts does this online safety bill criminalize? Now, a few things that we do know is there is some sort of commission that is appointed by the President. Then this commission is entrusted or is empowered to decide on what is true and what is false by looking at everything that we post on social media. There are many other consequences that will flow, but we are still unaware of what this act really is. To discuss these matters and much more, we've got with us here today a member of the National People's Power Lawyers Forum, Mr. J M Winebandara, attorney at law. Thank you very much for joining us on our program this evening. So to start things off, I continue to get asked this question quite a lot. What is this online safety bill, and what are the acts that this online safety bill criminalizes? Now, in Sri Lanka, we know there's a penal code. There are several other pieces of legislation. You can't kill, you can't harass, you can't rape, you can't, protest in certain ways. But we know those offenses. They're clear. They're clear. But when it comes to the online safety bill, do you even know what kind of acts are considered offences under the online safety bill?
Well, Sharan, now that bill, we got the news today. It has been now confirmed as law, and it is effective as from today. The contents exactly, me too don't know. Okay. We have to go through. Then this is the very first time that we are in doubt as regard what are the exact content of the law which has been passed by Parliament.
So, but there are three members from the NPP who are in Parliament. Dr. Harini, Vijita Herath and Anukumara Dissanayake. So, are you telling me that they don't know what the content of these acts are?
In fact, we asked for a vote also, division. Okay. That also not granted. Speaker has merely opined that it is passed. That also we haven't witnessed previous the procedure in Parliament. That is too strange. And also is amidst opposition in the Parliament also. The forum also not in order as the particular time that Speaker announced the bill is passed. In any way, we'll go to the contents of this bill and what was debated in society, among civil societies, in media about this bill. This basically, we do have criminal law in our country. The basic concept that there are two elements has to be satisfied if particular crime is to be constituted. That is actus reus and mens rea. That means you have to involve in a physical conduct, that you physically involved. If per rape, you have to conduct a sexual intercourse against the will of a woman. If you are doing a grievous hurt, you have to act, you have to hit, you have to give a blow or battery, or that is clearly visible and clearly defined, and also anybody can see. If you kill a person, you know that you stab or you fire at various means. It is very, very clearly defined, and any layman can understand. You don't have to be a lawyer or doctor to understand whether this person killed or not. That is our criminal law. But when it's come to this particular bill, it says a word can constitute a crime. Expression can constitute a crime. That is a problem. When expression means you can hail a person, you can comment certain thing, you can express your view, you can criticize, you can argue, you can debate a point. There are various means. There are debatable points in society, in politics, in economy, in various strata in society. There are debatable points. So if you debate, there are always two versions, even in court. Any court proceeding, there are two versions. Otherwise, there won't be cases. So one lawyer represents one party, we call plaintiff, other party dependent. If it is a criminal case, prosecution and defense. So two versions are always there. You are not punish the party who win and party who loses. You not punish the loser, saying that his version is untruth, it is not acceptable quote. No. But in this particular bill, look at this bill, it says some committee appointed by the executive president, they decide whether particular expression is right, truth or false. I mean, how can it become, though it is a law, I am not there to recognize as a citizen, if our civil rights are taken away by discriminatory laws, arbitrary laws, I am not there as citizen, as right concerned citizen to accept that.
You are not accepting that?
Not accepting it, though it is a law,
okay.
Even International Declaration of Human Rights, preamble, I have been telling this, advocating this throughout, preamble says what is the meaning of human rights. Human rights are rights, you have to ensure at least minimum rights that state bound to ensure to avoid people as last resort, as last means come rebel against the state. If state want to avoid people coming as rebellion against the state, they have to ensure the minimum rights. What are the minimum rights? Human rights. Your freedom of thought, your freedom of expression, your freedom of involved in association.
Freedom of movement.
Yeah, freedom of movement. All those things are there. But this online protection bill, or now it's law, it is an attempt to curtail all these rights. But we'll have to wait and see how it is going to be implemented, and in practice how this law going to be implemented. Other thing is that you can vote a can when there is a public mob. But can you vote a can social media? Can you vote a can to this instrument? So these are the instruments that we share ideas, disseminate ideas, explain no debate in all debate through social media. I mean, nobody can expect that you cannot vote again. Though if framers of these laws or rejected parliament who in a surprising and very strange manner pass this law, if they expect that they can silence the society, especially in an election year, by passing this law, I think it's a mistake, big mistake. We have to wait and see.
But then of course, the government says that they're not intending on using it in that way, that they want to protect children, women, minorities, is what they say. But if, as you say, there is a commission that decides on what is true and what is false out of everything that is posted on social media, there is quite a lot of falsities posted by those in power just to gain the extra traction. Let's take, for example, the saga surrounding Dr. Safi.
Yes.
Now, there were massive allegations leveled. There were hundreds of women were at least seen on camera coming and claiming that they were treated by this doctor and now they can't have children. But a couple of years later, everybody is missing. And he was cleared of all charges. He was paid back wages. They declared that he had not committed any of those crimes that he was accused of. So everybody who accused him of those crimes are liars. So do you think they would be held liable under this piece of legislation? I mean, if they had committed it now.
You said it's a saga. It's in fact a saga. It is a political saga. That's created by a political campaign to bring a particular person into power. To arouse religious feeling among the general public. And you and me know, we don't have to go further and discuss for whose benefit it was published, and now nobody is accountable. But you cannot summarize this act or this law or justify this law because of that incident, right? And that is a wrong media.
No, but what I'm saying is, I understand the fact that you said that you don't accept this law, that's fine. But whatever said or done, it is law. And it can be used against you by the authorities of the day. So if this is now law, and until the next election comes, the next government comes into power and repeals this piece of legislation, it is going to continue to be law. So what I'm saying is there any way that this piece of legislation could at least be used to do something good?
It is very difficult to use this law. You know, the very closest court, if you go to the administration of justice system in Sri Lanka, very primary court is magistrate court. And also Supreme Court in the pre-bill stage determination say that this particular commission should not be given power to judge anything. If at all, if anything to be judged, it is up to the court. That's what Supreme Court determined.
So, but has that amendment come? We don't know.
It has. It is there.
It has.
Yeah.
So then, so what's the procedure like? Because people genuinely,
Yes.
Mr. Winebandara, people don't know.
Exactly. Me too don't know 100% what it is because of the what's happened in Parliament on the particular day.
But based on the bits and pieces of what you know, what is the process like? Because my understanding, at least, was again based on the the drama that we saw in Parliament, is that there is a commission appointed by the President, and that commission has the power to decide on what is true and false, and then impose fines, impose sanctions.
No, not at all. They don't have power to impose fine. They have only the investigating powers only.
So just to investigate?
Yes.
Only to and submit a report to?
To magistrate. Any sanction only through the courts.
Any sanction only through courts?
Yes. Let me put the other way. If it is anything is reported to court, the question will be if any other criminal offence, the defense can say, I have not committed or I am not there or something. Whether this victim is wounded or not, victim is raped or not. But here, one party say it is truth, other party say it is false, maybe police or somebody. However, on this planet, magistrate decide that this is going to be a mockery of administration of justice. How can decide whether particular fact is truth or false? That is very difficult. That's very difficult.
So also like now, say for example, even in cases of defamation, just in case this goes over the top and gets entangled in legal jargon, defamation is of course insulting another person. There is a defense called jest. That means if you crack a joke, just and fair comments, yes, and also if it's a joke can't be defamatory. If you can prove that it's a joke. So are these exceptions also included in this? Because there is quite a lot of banter going on social media. It's one place that people really come out to express themselves, and there are quite a lot of jokes, and Sri Lanka especially is quite famous for these memes. So do you think maybe this commission was try to look at whether these memes are true and accurate, and maybe send a few reports on that?
If you go back to history of our penal laws, there was a liability called criminal defamation.
Yes.
After the famous Singha Ratnatunga criminal defamation case, there was a committee appointed by veteran attorney at law R.K.W. Gunsekara headed that committee, and they recommended defamation criminal law to be removed. Accordingly, that law was removed in 2001 or close to that era.
When Ranil Wickremesinghe was Prime Minister?
I think so, yes. And now we have only the civil defamation case.
Yes.
As you talk about SAPI or women's or children's abuse through social media, we are not there to approve such. We totally condemn.
But there are already laws to handle
exactly. That is, there are laws, and also there are laws to adopt any social media communication as evidence.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's WhatsApp message, Instagram, Messenger, Twitter, anything, right? Anything comes to these social media platforms. We have amended our laws, even very recently amended Civil Procedure Code. At pre-trial stage, we can call all those evidence. If any person aggrieved by civil, he think that he is defamed by a conduct or by publication by some other party or group or any media institution, he or she can file defamation case, and using all this evidence, they can claim heavy compensation. So civil law is there.
And even before they file cases, they can, seek an order for preservation of
exactly. Very recently, this parliament themselves passed that law. Having passed that law,
I don't think many of them knew what was in it, though.
That's of course always there. They don't know what they are passing. That always there. But this is an attempt. I want to highlight, what I need to highlight is, this is an attempt to, in one sense, bring a pure psychosis in the mind of people, saying that this number of laws are passed there. You look at, if you listen to the speeches made by government party members in parliament, say that I was blackguarded, I was defamed.
People said, typed comments saying Nivan Sua on Facebook.
And directly they say that I am person, the speaker person, he was defamed by various sectors of society, therefore this law is necessary. Though they just put some icing saying that women's right or children's right, child abuse, that is not the case. So they thought that of course they will be covered by this law. No, I am saying, I am stressing this my point, right? Still, if you think that it is truth, you can say. I mean, if you bona fide, that means genuinely think that this is truth or this fact point is debatable, you can say. No obstacle at all. It will not lead to any criminal liability. Society should not be scary because of this law is there. You can go on, you can express your view, you can enjoy your freedom of expression, enjoy your freedom of thought and freedom of association. Of course, if there is anything serious that is committed against an individual person, I suggest individual persons has a right, they cannot use police. No. In civil defamation, police mechanism is not set in motion. Police mechanism always been used by whom? By politicians who are in power only. Who are in power, they use against opposition politician. When opposition politician comes to power, they use against their opposition. That is why that is the rationale behind to remove criminal defamation from the book. Because they launch criminal enforcement mechanism to suppress their opponents. If it is civil defamation, the person aggrieved, the person who is worried about particular publication, they can sue in a civil matter, where if they are satisfied with compensation, they can settle matters also. There is no detention order, right? There are no detention orders, no sanction. Parties can negotiate and they come to settlement. Of course, they can say, correction can be published. There are many other ways and means to address the concerns of the victim. When number of those laws are there, and also Parliament has reformed laws to meet the requirements of internet forum platform to adopt those evidence in normal court law, there is no necessity at all to pass this law. Even if those is law, now there is a law called by this name, no?
Yes.
Practically, it has very least importance to day-to-day life of people, day-to-day life media people like you, lawyers like me, or any social media people who use. If you feel truth, you can publish. Of course, you should not deliberately defame any other person. That we are not supporting for that kind of attempt. But if you want to criticize the government, criticize. Criticism is not, nobody can measure it is truth or false. Criticism is different scenario. And also you challenge the particular policy of government, of course you can challenge. One party say this way is correct, other party say other way is correct. So neither of this can be say truth or false. That test cannot be applied to this. So don't feel that you are curtailed or restricted. That is the message I have to give to society. Because of existence of this law from today, is still you can, the way you think, you can think, the way you express, you can express, the way you communicate it, you can communicate, but don't try to deliberately, willful, defame any other person. That no civil society will tolerate. Other than that, you can express, you can criticize government. That's the most important thing. If you think that Yuktiya operation or something is bad, it's not doing good to the society, it's a joke or it's just a campaign, tell so. Tell so. I mean, it is a duty of police. I mean, they don't have to give publicity. If they have been doing their duties, there is no necessity to launch a particular campaign for 2 months or 3 months to eradicate drugs. They have not been doing their duty. those ministers who were in power looking after the national law, Ministry of, Internal Defense, they have not been doing their duties. That's why they have launching campaign that is dengue eradication or something after rain or something. That shows their failure. So I am telling that it's a criticism. I mean, no, can anybody say it's truth or false? No, this is my view. Therefore, anybody can express in that way. So our intention is to correct the society, even to correct the police. Police is there to ensure law and order in the country, not to just launch personal programs or publicity program to personal gain. If police is doing their duty very well, we always encourage them to do so, and we welcome such attempt.
Mr. Winebandara, we're in the final few minutes of the show. We've spoken quite extensively about the online safety bill, but there's only so much that can be said because the bill hasn't been published yet. I just ran a quick check on the government printer's website, and the bill has still, or in this case, the act, the final act has not yet been published. So I'm eagerly waiting to see what kind of procedures have been set in place and what kind of amendments have been made, and if, in fact, the Supreme Court's proposals on amendments that need to be made to the online safety bill for it to be passed in Parliament with a simple majority have actually been included. But we will have to wait for that. Hopefully maybe tomorrow or the day after, the government printer's website will publish this new act that has now become law in Sri Lanka. But Mr. Winebandara, if I could maybe pose a question to you on a more political footing regarding the Jatika Janabala Vegya now. The JJB is coming under fire from both the government and other opposition parties as well. Now, judging by everything that has been said, one of the key points of criticism is that the JJB is all talk, no work. The JJB can talk a big game, but when it comes to work, they really can't do much. They haven't done much. And there are even posts on social media comparing the leader of the JJB to former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and of course drawing some parallels with the failure and the wave, of course, that led to the former president and what's happening right now. So as the JJB, how would you respond to that?
Talk means expression of what you can do. Work means the thing that you can implement once you are in power. JJB has not yet elected to power by Sri Lankan people. So we can talk and express what we can do once we are in power. So we cannot be compared with other parties, with Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who talk a lot. Actually, he didn't talk at all. He couldn't talk also. Somebody else talked for him. That's why JJB talk and told, this man cannot talk even, don't believe him. That's what we said. So people elected and people realized and people came forward and chased him out. Right? Then this incumbent president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, talked a lot in parliament saying that Aragale is justified, they are good. He want to incorporate some Aragale people to parliament and so many blah blahs. And he talked about that he sending a ship to American allies to combat with
the Yemeni Houthi rebels.
Yes, Houthi rebels. And that is against the non-aligned policies. When he went back to non-aligned summit, he speak and say that Palestinian government is recognized by Sri Lanka. Those are the talk without work, right? NPP is not like that. We have proper agricultural plan, we have proper administrative justice plan. We talk about those things. We go to villages, we have women's groups, we have lawyers group. We talk. I mean, you just talk about freedom of expression. Why you? I know that you are not blaming. Why some people blame for us talking? Without talking, how can communicate our knowledge?
Mr. Winebandara, just real quick, I was listening to a speech by Nimal Lanza at the recent opening of their party. The name just slipped my mind. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite get it. The party initial conference, or the alliance conference, was held in Jayala. And speaking in Jayala, Nimal Lanza was saying that the leader of the Jatika Janabala Vegya went and hid when IMF representatives came to speak with him because he can't speak the English language. There were, comments made in that light. Any response on your part?
No, that is not a material fact at all. We have people who can communicate with any international organization or international agencies. And also our leader is very much capable to handle with international community and international organization. But we have in our heart particular national policy. Without betraying our nation, we will do that according to the interest of our people and our nation. Who is Nimal Lanka to talk that this mushrooming coalition and all these things? I think Mr. Anukumar Disanak himself has very clearly answered to Mr. Nimal Lanka in Parliament. If you want to talk with Nimal Lanka, what should we talk? That's the topic.
Mr. Winebandara, just one final question before we leave. If any of our viewers are genuinely interested in seeing what the NPP has to offer, how can they read up on your policies, maybe take a look? Because I do understand that these rallies and attending rallies really doesn't give you too much of an insight into what you really plan on doing, because it's a lot of clout and statements making and shouting. So if they do want to maybe refer to some of your policies, any suggestion on how that can be done?
In short, when it's come to rights of people, there are two categories. One is socio-economic and cultural rights, that you need money and that you need a lot of hard work to ensure those rights.
No, what I'm asking is really, have you all put out any documents? Is there any way to access those?
Yes, these are competitive politics. Of course, we do have a document. This is not the proper time to give
Put it out.
Once the election is declared, we will certainly give it to the people.
So then the general public will have
we are ready with that. We are ready with that.
We'll wait just a little while more. So the document will be released once the election is announced. Is that how it works?
Yes. We are ready with that.
All right.
We know what to be done.
So we will wait and see how things pan out here in Sri Lanka. It's imperative that we select a proper leader, proper leadership for Sri Lanka to take us through these turbulent waters, and that is undoubtedly the need of the hour. Thank you very much, Mr. Winebandara.
Thank you very much for having me.
For joining us on our program today. He is attached to the Lawyers Forum of the Jathika Chanapalavegia. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for tuning in to another episode of Face to Face. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.